dark. The sky has never had to evolve.
Islam is a culture that loves death.
Fucker.
If you love life and your enemy loves death, you're doing him a favor when you kill him if the murder takes place in a battle of civilizations. You're doing
Hello. With you being appointed the head of the Holocaust Council by President Bush.
No, I'm not. I'm a member of the Holocaust Commission, which oversees the Holocaust Museum, but I was the chairman of the Commission on Anti-Semitism, which is what I think you...
The chairman, right? I apologize. What do you think about the fact that in the NSA National Security Archives, Prescott Bush is labeled for putting Nazi spies into this country through Hamburg 9?
I'm unfamiliar with that. If Prescott Bush did it, he should be prosecuted, but I have no knowledge of it.
And the second part of this question is, how do you think that the answered questions to 9/11, the fact that Lee Hamilton, the co-chairman of the 9/11 Commission, said it was set up to fail, 70% of victims' families' questions weren't answered? How do you think all of...
You're going too
right.
fast. What did you say about Hamilton?
Lee Hamilton said that the commission was set up to fail because they were underfunded, and people like the...
I thought they did a good job. I know Lee Hamilton. He's a very good guy. And they did a good job. So what's
But
the
70% of victims' families' questions were never answered into the event. There's still no explanation of what happened with Building 7, 45 steel frame
Let me say this,
structure.
not to cut you short.
But I'm still not finished with the question.
I know you
Right.
Let me say, what you're engaged in is the conspiracy theory. I don't believe in the conspiracy theory. I believe that there is a conspiracy. What is the bottom line? Conspiracy. Conspiracy.
Answer.
No, I can't answer that.
Right, but how do you think this leads to anti-Semitism?
I don't think it leads to
the
anti-Semitism.
post-9/11 policy has been about, Middle East bombings again.
I don't think it leads to anti-Semitism at all. I don't.
There was a council set up by Wolfowitz to manipulate intelligence to get us into Iraq. So don't
sit down. Sit down. Now look, let me just say something. There are people who believe in the conspiracy theory that the two buildings were loaded. Stop it! That they're loaded with dynamite.
Floor by floor instead of popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Detonated.
They were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down.
Loaded with dynamite, and they weren't brought to the, to crash by the planes, but by some American plot. You want to believe that?
Not American. Criminal elements.
You want to believe it? Believe it. I don't. Let's take the next question. Leave everybody alone and don't worry about anything. I don't accept that. We're in the world. We're the #1 superpower, and we have to defend ourselves. But let me tell you what is the bottom line. I believe, and it is the belief apparently of the United States government, that there is an Islamist conspiracy to restore...
Why do we fly the
Stop it! Sit down. An Islamist conspiracy to restore the caliphate. Now the caliphate was in existence. I don't know when the last one was, but they had several of them. And what it means is that all Muslim countries shall be under the rule of one religious leader. That's the caliph.
Your turn, sir. Over here.
How do you feel about former Mayor Rudolph Giuliani taking papers from the New York City archives and storing in his own private storage?
Well, the first thing is, and I believe as a result of others objecting, not just myself, they did not remove the papers objected at the time before they were filmed by the city administration so that they have a copy of everything. That's my...
Hi, Mr. Mayor, how are you? Mr. Mayor, if you were the mayor on 9/11, would you have ordered a police investigation of the attacks?
No, that's the federal government's job.
That was the biggest crime in history.
That's the federal government's job.
So you don't fault Mr. Giuliani for removing the evidence from the crime scene or for not ordering a police investigation?
Removed evidence, I fault him.
Okay, all right.
I fault him for a lot of stuff, but we're not supposed to be the ones investigating.
But there have been occasions over the last, let us say, decade, when the evidence pointed clearly to some sort of state-sponsored terrorism. I'm not suggesting that this was state-sponsored terrorism. I'm saying clearly we don't know what this is. Yep. But is it true or untrue that in the past, over the last decade, there have been those occasions when the evidence pointed to certain states, and that for one reason or another, neither the executive nor legislative branch of our U.S. government wanted to attend to that, that just the decision was made to look the other way?
I don't know if the intention, if the action was to just look the other way, but I think there were indications. Whether there was conclusive proof or not was a judgment that was made by our leaders, both in the executive and legislative branch. I have felt that there's been involvement, but I'll be honest with you, Dan, I never thought that an operation of this sophistication and size would take place. I never thought that an operation of this sophistication and size would take place.